Yeah, I heard of it. You lose it overnight.
And tonight, with this more than million-acre blaze, just 15% contained, firefighters finally getting help from a cold front. But everyone's hoping for rain, forecast later this week. Lester?
Morgan Chesky in Texas tonight. Thanks. We'll take a break, and in 60 seconds, the Princess of Wales seen for the first time since her abdominal surgery earlier this year and her prolonged absence from public life. Late details coming up.
U.S. General from Harbor Freight provides high quality and advanced features at a fraction of the price. From roll cabs, carts, and accessories to tool organizers and part trays. Designed for everyone from the weekend mechanic to the accomplished technician. Integrated power, hundreds of combinations, backward compatibility, and customization. Available only at Harbor Freight.
It's been nearly 2 months since Princess Kate underwent surgery in the UK, and since that mystery hospitalization, she hasn't been seen in public until today. Here's Stephanie Gosk.
The picture is grainy, but appears to be the Princess of Wales in sunglasses being driven by her mother. The photo agency that owns the image says it was taken near Windsor Castle, where a royal spokesperson says the Princess of Wales is recuperating from abdominal surgery. The 42-year-old mother of three hasn't been seen in public in months. Not since Christmas Day with her family. In January, Kensington Palace announced she had been admitted to a London hospital for planned abdominal surgery. A spokesperson later adding that the surgery was successful and that Kate did not have cancer. Just under 2 weeks later, she returned home and was making good progress, according to the palace, but would not be attending public events until after Easter. With little information being released, social media buzzed with conspiracies, some about the seriousness of her condition. The rumors were fueled last week when Prince William made a last-minute decision not to attend a memorial service for his godfather, citing a personal matter. The palace issued another statement. The princess was doing well, and adding that it made clear in January the timelines of the princess's recovery. It would only be providing significant updates. The palace declined to comment on today's photo. Adding to the health concerns for the royal family is King Charles' unspecified cancer diagnosis. But tonight, an image that may provide some solace to those wishing the princess a speedy recovery. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
And coming up as we continue tonight, the new technology to crack down on deadly fentanyl pouring into this country. But why is it sitting unused? Our investigation next. Back now with our NBC News investigation into the fight against fentanyl at the southern border. Authorities there have new advanced scanners that can detect fentanyl in vehicles. But we've learned millions of dollars worth of these scanners are sitting unused. Here's Julia Haynes.
Tonight, we're on the front lines of the fentanyl crisis. Nogales, Arizona. Half of all fentanyl seized coming in from Mexico is stopped here. But critics say the Biden administration is not doing enough. With fentanyl overdoses now the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. Acting CBP Commissioner Troy Miller tells us virtually all fentanyl is brought across in vehicles.
It's driven by men, women, young, old, U.S. citizens, Mexican citizens.
And he tells us border agents have begun using a new technology to identify fentanyl hidden in vehicles. We watch as officers first question drivers and inspect cars. Then they may be referred for a scan.
This is new technology that's been installed to X-ray cars that officers suspect might be carrying narcotics. It's been installed here in Nogales because it's considered the ground zero for fentanyl trafficking.
But less than 5% of personal vehicles and 20% of commercial vehicles coming into the U.S. are actually scanned. With more new technology, Miller wants to bring those numbers up to 40% of cars and 70% of commercial trucks, but not for another 2 years.
Why not scan every vehicle for an X-ray?
You see 1 million people crossing the border every single day. If we tried to scan every single shipment and person coming into this country, we would shut down legitimate trade and travel.
And tonight, we've learned millions of dollars of taxpayer-purchased fentanyl scanners are sitting in warehouses, unused.
We need approximately $300 million for civil works to actually put the technology in the ground.
This money you've already spent, but it's sitting there. Is that frustrating for you?
Very frustrating. It's extremely frustrating.
But in Tucson, Teresa Romero is is demanding authorities do much more. Every year, enough fentanyl is trafficked into the U.S. to kill every American.
I think the border needs to be closed, to be honest with you, because we're a superhighway. I mean, look how close, you saw how close to the border we are. And they're just pouring in. This is, I believe, our last picture together.
Guerrero lost her son Jacob 4 years ago when cocaine he ingested was secretly laced with fentanyl. She says Jacob was athletic, a free spirit, and always ready to help his friends.
If only, you always ask those questions. But I don't want another parent to have to say, if only.
Tonight, the Biden administration is calling on Congress for more money so they can start using those currently unused scanners. Lester?
Julie Ainsley, thank you. Up next for us tonight, the mystery of flight MH370, 10 years after it disappeared, inside the renewed push to find the missing airplane. Finally, it's one of the world's greatest aviation mysteries. What happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? Now nearly 10 years since our plane vanished, the search may be back on. Tom Costello explains why.
In the vastness of the southern Indian Ocean, another all-out search may soon begin for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. After first searching in 2018, American company Ocean Infinity says it wants to try again, using autonomous drones to find the plane and the 239 people on board. The Prime Minister of Malaysia says he's open to a new search, with Ocean Infinity only getting paid if it finds the plane.
Whatever needs to be done must be done.
It was on March 8, 2014 that the Boeing 777 disappeared on the red-eye from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Radar and satellite data suggested the plane made a mysterious U-turn, flew back over Malaysia, and eventually headed towards the southern Indian Ocean, the search zone 1,500 miles south of Australia. The leading theory is that one of the pilots hijacked the plane, flying it into the ocean, while small pieces of the
For a cleaner, more sustainable future, America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars to create innovative products and new recycling technologies. Because when you push for smarter solutions, big things can happen.
We are endlessly committed to our clients. Our dedication will be felt every step of the way to a resolution that can change everything.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case. On September 22nd, 2023, Suzanne Morphew's remains were discovered 3 years after her sudden disappearance on May 10th, 2020. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation stumbled upon her remains during a search of an area in Moffett, Saguache County, as part of a separate investigation, breathing new life into the famously cold case of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance. A tumultuous personal life and an inconsistent recollection of events first pointed toward the husband as the likely suspect in what the police believed to be a murder. However, new evidence has called into question the 2-year-long crusade. Over 70 investigators invested 1,000 hours of work into Suzanne's case. 135 search warrants were issued, and dozens of over 400 people were interviewed before the police felt confident in charging Barry with the first-degree murder of his wife. Even after the charges were dropped based on inadequate evidence and mismanagement, there was no doubt in most people's eyes that Barry was guilty. However, after Suzanne's remains were found 50 miles outside their search area, and DNA evidence linked her death to a suspected serial killer, questions have arisen about what happened on the day of her disappearance. Is Barry Morphew far more resourceful than the authorities give him credit for? Or did something or someone from her personal life cause her death? Suzanne Morphew was born on April 11, 1971, to her parents, Jean and Adrian Alexander, and grew up with 2 brothers, David and Andrew. Everyone who knew Suzanne described her as an amazing, intellectual, and thoughtful friend. In 1998, while in high school, Suzanne met her future husband, Barry Morphew, and married him after 6 years of dating. Matthew was a remarkable ball player and was signed with the Toronto Blue Jays, while Suzanne pursued a degree in education at Purdue University. Barry's career ended before it barely began after a serious injury, and he switched tracks, beginning a career in horticulture. Suzanne had been teaching for 4 years when Barry started his landscape company, which gained steam as more time passed. Together, the couple had 2 children, Mallory and Macy. They had a picture-perfect life in Indiana until Suzanne was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. She beat cancer twice, and in 2018, the Morphews moved to Maysville, Colorado, for a fresh start and to be closer to their daughter, Mallory, attending Western State University. They moved to a gorgeous 7-acre property where Barry could hunt. He still worked as a contractor, and had even taken up being a volunteer fireman, while Suzanne retired from teaching, devoting herself more to the church and taking up sports. Mountain biking was a new pastime she was exploring. From the outside looking in, the Morphews were the perfect family, but they had their share of problems, all of which would come to light following the events of May 10, 2020. May 10, 2010 started a bit differently from most Mother's Day celebrations at the Morphews residence. Barry and the girls were out of the house, leaving Suzanne alone. Barry claimed to have a landscaping appointment in the town of Broomfield, 3 hours away from Maysville by car. The girls, on the other hand, went on a camping trip. Barry and the girls had planned to return home by the evening to celebrate Mother's Day with Suzanne. However, the planned celebration never took place. That evening, the girls messaged their mother to wish her happy Mother's Day, but received no text message in return. They found this odd since their mother was very active on social media. Expecting a few pictures from her best friend's daughter's wedding, they knew she had to be on her phone. After a few hours of no reply, Mallory and Macy reached out to their neighbor, Martin Ritter, and his wife to check on Suzanne. Mrs. Ritter made the trip down to the Morphews' house around 4 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. to discover an empty house. She called Barry, explaining the situation, and he told her to check for Suzanne's mountain bike. If it was not there, he instructed her to call the police, and that's exactly what she did. The police showed up at the Morphew residence, and Barry Morphew and his 2 daughters made their way back home, desperate to learn the location and status of Suzanne. The police found their first solid clue a few hours into the search. The discovery turned the investigation on its head. 2 deputies found Suzanne's mountain bike off a steep ravine, not too far from Murphy.